In this video, we're going to be talking about equivalent expressions and properties. So we've already talked about some of our properties, but now we're going to add two to our list. The first is the addition property of equality. And that means whatever is added or subtracted to one side of the equal sign must be added or subtracted to the other side to keep the equation equal or true. So in this example over here, we can see that we subtracted 3 from the left, so we had to subtract 3 from the right to get our next step. The other one is the multiplication property of equality. So this means that whatever is multiplied to one side of the equal sign must be multiplied to the other side to keep the equation equal or true. So, and that applies to multiplication, but it also applies to division. So in this step, because remember, division is the same as just multiplying by a fraction. So 2x, if I divide by 2 to both sides, that's the same as multiplying really by 1/2 to give us the next step. So basically multiply or divide, add or subtract. If you do it to one side, got to do it to both. Next one is equivalent expressions. So two or more algebraic expressions are equivalent if they have the same answer after you plug a value in for the variables, and you can check in your calculator. So if we look at this first example, and this is something we've talked about already. So if I say, which of the following is a result of 5 times x squared minus 4 plus 2 times x squared plus 3x? Well, one way we could do this to see if they are equivalent is to just go ahead and put them in our calculators or plug answers into our x's to see if we get the same outputs. But remember that our calculator can do that by putting it in y equals, where we can just put this entire thing in and it'll give us all of the points, the x's and y's, the inputs and outputs, to see if they are the same. So in this first example here, I could distribute this 5 to both things inside the parentheses and the 2 to both things inside the parentheses. So then we would get 5x squared minus 20 plus 2x squared plus 6x. Then we would combine our like terms to get 7x squared plus 6x minus 20. And I could see that that is one of my answer choices. So I'm going to say my choice is number 3. But I could check this or do this in my calculator by plugging my original in y1, my answer choices in y2, and see which one matches in the table. All right, let's look at one more. Which of the following expressions is equivalent to 5 times 2x plus 1 minus 4? So basically we need to simplify this. So I'm going to distribute the 5, which would give us 10x plus 5 minus 4. Then I can combine those like terms to get this 10x plus 1. And remember, I could plug in values of x into this and they should give me the same answer. But the easiest way to check that is to put this in y1, your answer in y2, and see if the tables match. Okay, we're going to skip to the next topic. Order of operations, PEMDAS. This is something you've learned in the past. We always do parentheses, exponents, then multiplication and division, left to right, and then addition and subtraction, left to right. So those are grouped together. So we solve equations by using inverse operations. So if the variable you are solving for shows up only once, so this is only when we have it in one place, we can identify the operation that have been done on it and then reverse them in the opposite order in which they occur. So if we look here, we've got 9x minus 6 equals 30. We do only have one x, so I can go ahead and do this. What happened for x? To x. Well, first, it's multiplied by 9. Next, we subtracted 6. Okay, so now that I've seen what happened to x, I need to reverse it in order to solve for x. So I'm going to start by rewriting the equation. And we're going to use the properties that we just talked about, which is to do whatever we do to one side, do the same on the other. So here I have the subtract 6. That was the last thing that happened, so we're going to do the opposite in the opposite order. So now I'm going to, instead of subtract 6, I'm going to add 6. So that'll eliminate it on the left-hand side, and we're left with 36 on the right. So 9x equals 36. Next thing that happened in the reverse order was multiply by 9. So I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to divide by 9. And when I do that, I get my final answer, because 36 divided by 9 is 4, so x equals 4. Okay, we'll talk about this more tomorrow. Have a good night.